the managing director of IMF, Kristalina, yesterday was full of praise for the Prime Minister and the leadership that he has shown and the conviction that he has shown and the commitment that the country has shown in terms of this reform-based program, jiska we are well underway in that program. Now coming to the insurance sector. So first of all, I want to compliment and commend SCCP because इस किस्म की जो thought leadership forums हैं, ये over the last few months in various sectors and in various disciplines, these have been organized, and these are very critical. They are critical because what you have there, and I can see some of the industry leaders who are sitting there, an overall stakeholder approach and a consultative process. Because government के पास ना ये कैपेसिटी है ना गुंजाइश है कि हम सब कुछ खुद सोचकर और उसको आगे लेकर जाएं. तो इसको बिजनेस के साथ, इंडस्ट्री लीडर्स के साथ, रेगुलेटर्स के साथ और बाकी जो गवर्नमेंट के इदारे हैं, इन सबको मिलके what comes out of these deliberations. And I just looked at the program, and it's a very full program for everyone, and very timely topics which are being covered there as well. देखिए, from an insurance perspective, हम एक व्यू तो ये ले सकते हैं कि सब अच्छे की खबर है, और अच्छे की खबर है. I mean, if we do stock taking, the insurance sector is starting from a good place. Whether it's products and services, whether it's client services, in some instances, the digital journey that some of the institutions have been on for a few years. लेकिन ये ultimately they're all interconnected, because what are we trying to do here in this sector? अगर हमने insured पाकिस्तान की तरफ जाना है, तो फिर it has to be better, faster, cheaper. ये जनरली जब हम डिजिटल की बात करते हैं तो मैं हमेशा ये कहता हूँ डिजिटल इन इटसेल्फ is not an end, it's a means to an end. तो उसमें ये जो आप लोगों की सब और स्टेक होल्डर्स की deliberations होंगी during the course of the day, it's going to be very critical that not only you see where you are today, but all about where you want to be as we go forward. और उसमें मैं दो बातें उसमें और करना चाहूँगा कि एक तो I just looking at the program, I think it's very good that there's some the new asset classes or relatively new asset classes which are being added. I can see मोइन खुदा साहब वहाँ बैठे हैं, तो एग्रीकल्चर साइड पे कुछ जिद्दत आई है. Certain level of innovation is there, but we are certainly not where we should be and where we need to be. And I know some of the institutions have worked with some of the players and reinsurance companies outside Pakistan, and it's great that we have taken things in the right direction. Lekin ultimately, these cannot remain, islands of excellence. अगर हमने insured Pakistan की तरफ जाना है, तो it all is about scaling up. And for that, the entire industry needs to come through and come in to take this forward. And the other one, अभी बात हो रही थी जो हमारी coordinator है climate change की, I'm not sure whether she is there in Karachi, but on the climate, and to me it's not just disaster and disaster recovery, because हमें ये climate को हमें एक और तरीके से देखना है कि हमने इसको risk mitigation के तरीके से देखना है, not just कि disaster हो गया और उसकी insurance है कि नहीं है. क्योंकि इसी तरह मैं देखता हूँ कि ये जो on the financing side of it, जब भी debt for climate swaps की बात होती है, etc., people just take it into a distress discussion and distress situation. No, it's not necessarily a distress discussion. This is something which we should be looking at financing options as BAU. तो इसी तरह ये आपका जो ये climate side पे discussion है, I think is going to be very important. So these two sectors I picked up as part of your program, which I think are going to be very useful in terms of what recommendations come back. फिर अगर हम जाएं, life है, health है, generally auto है, so in some sense, I mean, these are general insurance है. I mean, these are, again, areas which we can say are well covered, but वहाँ भी innovation की ज़रूरत है, because after a little bit of time, the sense of complacency comes in, कि good is good enough. But अगर हमने दोबारा insured पाकिस्तान की बात करनी है, तो उसमें, high value solutions and then low value solutions. अगर हमने पूरी अपने, 240, 250 million लोगों की हमने जो हमारी यहाँ population है, and unfortunately is still growing at the rate that it's growing, and I've been very vocal about it. Okay, this is one of the existential issues for Pakistan, but that's a subject for another time. तो इसमें मेरी आप सब लोगों से यही दरख्वास्त है कि जो नए सेक्टर्स हैं उनमें तो बिल्कुल आप भी डिलिब्रेशन करें और इसको आगे लेकर चलें, लेकिन even the so-called sectors which are well covered, उसमें I think जिद्दत की ज़रूरत है. Now the last couple of points I want to make is कि देखें, we are very clear, and the Prime Minister is very clear, and the Cabinet is very clear, that government has no business in being in business. So हमारा जो काम है वो है policy framework देना, and I would say even more importantly policy continuity देना. And that's what we commit to you as an industry, as a sector, that inshallah we will do. And it's really in that context कि पिछले कुछ महीनों में ये जो discussion हुई कि some of the insurance companies and entities which are in the public sector, and it was well debated कि जी problem क्या है. तो जो SOEs हैं अगर लॉस मेकिंग है तो उनको तो आप प्राइवेट सेक्टर के हवाले करें, लेकिन अगर प्रॉफिट बन रहा है तो प्रॉफिट बनने दें. But that's not the point. The point is, if there is an activity which can be done in the private sector, then it should be done in the private sector. And therefore, as the chair of the Cabinet Committee on SOEs, in conjunction with my honorable Cabinet colleagues, we recommended कि जो insurance entities इस वक्त हैं in the public sector will move into the privatization scheme. And that has been ratified by the Cabinet. And therefore, the Privatization Commission has to take that discussion, forward. और दूसरा उसका जो element है वो regulation का है, because यहाँ chairman बैठे हैं, commissioner बैठे हैं. I think on one side there is an element of facilitating the business, and the other side is to ensure that the regulatory environment is such कि उसमें कोई abuse का element ना आए. So I think ये एक we have to tread this discussion very clearly, but with that conviction कि ये सारा कुछ होना private sector में ही है. आप लोगों ने इसको lead करना है. We are there to help, support, assist any way we can from the Ministry of Finance, but from the Cabinet, from the government side as well. So these are just a few things I just wanted to mention. Again, apologies I could not be there in person because of the traveling commitments. So I just want to again wish all of you a very successful conference. Or Akif Saab, I look forward to at the end of the program discussing जो भी recommendations आए on the back of careful deliberations during this conference. And I look forward to receiving those recommendations and discussing, and then coming back to all of you. और ये जो कंसल्टेटिव प्रोसेस है, ये बड़ी अच्छी बात है कि दिस इज द स्टार्ट. लेकिन जो भी फिर इसमें हम आगे the roadmap that you agree and discuss among yourselves, उसमें जो गवर्नमेंट की तरफ से जो आपकी रिक्वायरमेंट्स होंगी वो हम आपके पास दोबारा हाजिर होंगे, बिकॉज मैं बड़ा क्लियर हूँ इस चीज़ में कि इस साल एंड इट्स द लास्ट थिंग आई वुड से कि जो हमने बजटिंग प्रोसेस भी है वो हमने जनवरी में किक ऑफ कर दिया है. और उसकी वजह ये है कि वी वांट टू इंश्योर कि चेंबर्स का और जो डिफरेंट फोरा हैं उनकी डिलिब्रेशंस हैं या उनकी जो रिकमेंडेशंस हैं, पहली बात तो ये है कि हम खुद जाकर सुने. हमें यहाँ इस्लामाबाद हर एक को बुलाने की जरूरत नहीं है. आई थिंक इट्स वी ओ इट to all of them that to the extent possible between myself, Minister of State, Chairman and Secretary, that we go to the various cities, and we have already kicked off with that process in various cities. लेकिन with a view कि हम ये आपके पास वापस आए in the private sector with a very clear view in terms of what can be done this year, what can be done in the next year, what can be done in the next couple of years. तो जिस तरह आप हमें रोड मैप दें, उसी तरह हम आपके साथ engage करें to provide you our views in terms of what is doable and what needs to be phased in. So with that, Ji, I wish you all the very best and a very successful conference. Thank you again.
वफाकी वज़ीर ख़ज़ाना मोहम्मद औरंगज़ेब जो कि तकरीब से खिताब कर रहे थे, उनकी जानिब से कहा गया हुकूमती कोशिशों की वजह से मैक्रो इकनॉमिक इस्तेहकाम खुशाइंद है. MD-IMF ने इतराफ़ किया पाकिस्तानी मईशत दुरुस्त समत पर है. वज़ीर आज़म की MD-IMF से दुबई में मुलाकात भी हुई. इस हवाले से भी वज़ीर ख़ज़ाना की जानिब से बताया गया है. उनकी जानिब से कहा गया हुकूमत के पास इतनी गुंजाइश नहीं कि सब कुछ खुद करे. एग्रीकल्चर के शोबे में कुछ जिद्दत आई है. पेशावर टाउन के रिहायशी एडिशनल असिस्टेंट कमिश्नर के खिलाफ खातून की लाश सड़क पर रखकर